Hello BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my June 2018 TBR. Say it with me everybody. Yay, it's TBR time! That's like my shtick. TBRs are my most favorite thing in the world to do. I don't know what it is, and I say this every month. It's like brand new fresh books and I cannot wait to get to them all. I do actually have 18 books on my list this month, you guys. I was trying to cut it down for a bit because I was doing the Pass the Parcel challenge with the Romance Readers Reading Group. That has now ended and it's not starting back up again until August. So I have a little bit of wiggle room now in my TBR, if you will. And I'm trying something new. Not trying something new. I'm doing my typical TBR stuff. I'm going to be, of course, doing the Romance Readers Reading Group Challenge, which is part of the romance group on Goodreads. I will leave a link to that in the description box below. For their monthly challenge, I will be doing a few more books for my What to Read in 2018 challenge. I am participating in a group read-along, which is very exciting. And I'm going to try something else different. I added a couple, oh yeah, and I've got my TBR Jar Pick book. And I will also be talking about something at the very end that I want to do and start adding these to my TBR every month to see if I can get to them, so that'll be fun. All that being said, let's jump into the books, guys. So we're going to start off with my Triple RC challenge for June. This challenge is, like I said, it's a monthly challenge, and every month they give you 10 different prompts, and you need to find books that fit those prompts. And as I've always said, this challenge is very open-ended, you know, just because, you know, even if you don't read romance, you can absolutely fit other books into these categories, and I often do, if I need to. So let's get started. The first one is J is for June. Read a book that starts with J or a book whose author's first or last name starts with J. I'll be reading Something About You by Julie James. This is being narrated on audio by Karen White. I have a lot of audiobooks this month, you guys. I think it's going to be the month of audiobooks, so that's cool with me. This is available as part of the Audible Romance package. I believe this is the first book in the FBI U.S. Attorney series. One of my subscribers, this is part of my book bingo, one of my subscribers mentioned that they read this book on audio and really enjoyed it. So I like Julie James's writing. I've read her before. I'm very much looking forward to this one. The next one is The Olympian Gods and Goddesses for Demeter. She was the daughter of Cronus and Rhea. She was the goddess of harvest and fertility. Only women attended the Thesmorania, I think. I don't know if I'm saying that properly. A fertility festival held in her honor. So it says, read a book that takes place on a farm or a ranch, or one that involves a pregnancy or involves an abduction. Her daughter was actually kidnapped. Now, her daughter is Persephone. I'm a big fan of Greek and Roman mythology, and Demeter, I don't even know if I'm saying her name correctly, I do apologize. And Persephone's story is one of my favorites. Quick side note, if you're not familiar with it, it is what they explained back, you know, why we have different seasons. Because Persephone, beautiful girl, was seen, you know, like tending the fields, and Hades came up from the underworld and he kidnapped her. And he took her to the underworld. Well, while she was down there, she ate a pomegranate, so she had to stay in the underworld. And Zeus, like Demeter, fell into a deep depression. And, you know, the world became cold and covered in snow and everything died. And, you know, Zeus comes down and is like, what's up? Like, this needs to stop. And she's all upset because her daughter's gone. So he goes to the underworld to Hades and he's like, dude, bring her back. We need warm weather. We need crops. And Hades is like, sorry, she ate the pomegranate. You know, she can't go back up there. So they came to an agreement that Persephone would spend half of the year with her mother and half of the year back down with Hades. So that's why we have the two seasons. It's kind of a fun little, like, tale or story. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorites of all of Greek and Roman mythology. But yeah, just the total side note on that one, if you're ever interested, look up the story. It is a lot of fun. So the book I am reading for this one is Logan by Linda Lael Miller. This is being narrated on audio by Jack Garrett. Another one from the Audible Romance package. This is part of the Montana Creeds series. It's the first book. And this one is also one that's on my summer book bingo. I've read this book, but it was a long time ago. And I think I read all three of the first stories. They're about three brothers, and each one of them something going on with the ranch. I'm really looking forward to it. The next one, the feature author challenge for June, is Celeste Bradley. Read one book written by her or by any author with her first or last name. She's an author I have not read before. She writes historical fiction or historical romance. I really want to try out one of her books. There is a few of them available for the Audible romance package. So the one I'm going to be reading is Desperately Seeking a Duke. And this is going to be narrated on audio by Susan Erickson. Not sure at all what it's about. It's a historical romance. I'm sure it's going to be great. I am really looking forward to it. Category number 4. June is National Adopt a Cat Month. Do you think my husband would let me go adopt another cat? Or 12? Probably not. Go and adopt a cat. If you have room in your home and your heart, go adopt a cat at the shelter. As I always like to say, adopt, don't shop. I'm not here to preach to anybody. I would never do that, but I am a big advocate of shelter animals. They need all the love. My first 2 cats they weren't shelter cats. I found them on Kijiji. Somebody had kittens they were giving away. So I got my first 2 boys, Logan and Goran. Logan passed, of course, about 2 years ago now. And Mr. Goran is currently laying at my feet. He's 11 years old. Our next cats, Nicholas, came from the Toronto Humane Society, and sadly he passed away last summer. And now we have Mr. Bernard, who came not from the Toronto Humane Society, he came from Toronto Animal Services. And the Humane Society in Toronto, they are, as much as they can, be a no-kill shelter. They will not put animals down just for the sake of running out of space. If the animal is severely sick or injured, that's a completely different story. But they will not put animals down for the sake of overcrowding. They will find other places for them to go. Whereas, sadly, Toronto Animal Services does not have that same policy. So I'm happy that we got Bernard from there and rescued him, because he is older. He was 10. So you know he would have been near the top of the list, sadly. But anyway, another total side note. Sorry, guys. It is National, what did I say? Adopt a Cat Month. So please go adopt a cat if you can. And if you can't, donate to your local shelter, perhaps. It is created to encourage people to adopt a cat or to celebrate with the cat you've already adopted. I think I should do both. I should go get another cat. No, my boys are old. They would not appreciate a new cat. Goran just got used to the other one. He tolerates him at this point. Read a book with a cat or an adopted pet in the story or on the cover, or read a book with a shifter. So like if you're into that paranormal romance kind of thing. So I'm going to be reading Sit, Stay, Love by Debbie Burns. This is being narrated on audio by Stina Nielsen. Not part of the Audible romance package. This is a fairly newer release. I read the first book. This is book 2 in the Rescue Me series. I read the first book last year and I really loved it. And it takes place at a shelter. So I cannot wait to read it. The dog on the cover of this one is just beautiful. I love how the dog is highlighted and the people's faces are cut off. They know what's important. Category number 5 is June the 2nd is National Leave the Office Early Day. Sounds good. Celebrated on the 1st of this year. On this day, you are encouraged to leave work early after getting permission from your boss, it says, and go out and do something fun. Go sit in the park and read a book. Read a book featuring a workplace romance or a vacation or that takes place somewhere fun. A beach, an amusement park, or etc. The book I'm going to be reading is Summer Harvest by Georgina Penney. This is also I'm going to be listening to on audio, narrated by Scarlett Mack. And this one takes place over like a summer vacation. So this one should be really cute. I unfortunately don't know much about it. It's on my summer book bingo. I'm looking forward to getting to it. Category number 6. Flag Day is on June 14th in the US. It celebrates the flag, but in recent years it has also marked other topics and issues including gay and lesbian pride. Read a book with a flag on the cover or the colors of your country's flag, or read a book featuring a same-sex couple. So the book I'm going to be reading is Sandcastle Bay by Susan Mallery, another one on audio. I told you, audio heavy this month, guys. This is going to be narrated by Shannon McManus. There is, on that cute little sandcastle on the cover, there is a little flag. I'm counting it. I had the hardest time trying to find a book that had a flag on the cover. Or a book in my country's colors, which are flag colors, which would be red and white for Canada. That was difficult too. So this one fit the category. Again, another one I don't know too much about. It's the beginning of a series. I cannot remember even the name of the series at this point. I do apologize. I didn't write that down, but I'm sure I'm going to love it. It's Susan Mallery. Category number 7. June 17th is Father's Day. Father's Day is celebrated around the world to honor the contributions of fathers and father figures in the lives of children. Read a book with a single father main character, or a book with a strong parental relationship, or a book that has a 1 and a 7 in the page count, or a book, or one with a child on the cover, excuse me. The book I'm going to be reading is His Lost and Found Family by Sarah M. Anderson. This is the next book I need to read in the Texas Cattlemen's Club After the Storm series. An adorable little baby on the cover. Absolutely fits the category. Number 8, Juneteenth is on June 19th. It celebrates the end of legal slavery in the United States, marking the day that Union troops landed in Galveston, Texas, announcing the end of the war and the emancipation of the slaves. Love it. Read a book with an African-American character, or a book set in Texas, excuse me, or one that takes place during the Civil War. For those of you who want to read Gone with the Wind, this would be a perfect time to do so. The book I'm going to be reading is Kidnapping in Kendall County by Delores Fossen. The next book I need to read in the... Oh, I'm drawing a blank on the series. Something about Kendall County, I believe, but it takes place in Texas, so this one absolutely fits the bill. Category number 9. June 21st is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it is the autumn... No, it's the spring... Winter solstice. It's the winter solstice, excuse me. The summer solstice marks the longest day of the year, and it has been celebrated in different ways throughout history. For example, in ancient Greece, it marked the beginning of the year. Stonehenge may have been built to mark astrological events, including the summer solstice. Others worried that it would bring bad luck and wore a talisman to ward off evil on that day. Read a paranormal or a historical romance, or a book set in England, or a book with sunlight on the cover, or one that takes place during the summer. Again, these are so open-ended, guys. It's great. I will be reading a paranormal, Dying Breath by Heather Graham, again on audio, narrated by the fantastic Luke Daniels. Cannot wait to get to this one. And last but not least, Reader's Choice, read any book of your choosing. Sweet Home Cowboy by Marin Thomas, book number 9 in the Love at the Chocolate Shop series. So I'm very, very much looking forward to getting to this one too. So my next group of books are from my What to Read in 2018 challenge. I picked 4 tasks for this month to do. So the first one is going to be task number 13. It says, sort your TBR to show 50 books per page and sort by number of pages shortest to longest. Pick a book off the first page. So in other words, a book that is shorter. And the book I'm going to be reading is Gilded Secrets by Maureen Child. This is a Harlequin Desire novel. These are usually under 200 pages. I believe it's about family secrets. It sounds really good. I am looking forward to it. Task number 5 is read a book off your TBR that you already own. So I will be reading Rekindling the Widower's Heart by Glynna Kaye. I believe that this is, I'm going to say it wrong and I'm going to put the picture up, or the picture's going to be up. I believe it's a Harlequin heartwarming novel, or a romantic, or not a romantic suspense, a super romance. I cannot remember. I am so sorry. But it is on my TBR. I literally just did a randomizer on my TBR and picked a book. Task number 12. Pick one of your Goodreads friends and read a book from one of their shelves. So I looked at my Goodreads friends and right away I saw Brie at the top and I thought, okay, let's see what we have in common. And I did the compare books and we both had this book, and this is one I've been hearing so much about and I really want to read. And it is An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole. I will be listening to this one on audio, and it's being narrated by Karen Chilton. I believe this one actually does take place like during the Civil War. So this one totally would have fit in that other category, but I kind of really needed to fit my Crew of Hunters novel in there somewhere. So yes, so this one is getting read and I'm really looking forward to it. And task number 20, excuse me. These are out of order, but what I do is I do a randomizer for these to decide which ones I'm going to read every month. Yes, I know. I like random. I like controlled chaos. I like the random aspect of it, but I can still kind of control it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, task number 20, favorite author. You may either reread an old favorite or continue on with one you haven't read yet. So I picked Susan Mallery. She is a favorite author, so this will be my second book by her this month. And I'll be reading You Say It First, and this will be narrated on audio by Tanya Abbey. This is the first book in the Happily Inc. series, and I'm very, very much looking forward to it. I'm actually getting this one on audio from my library. Oh, I wanted to mention something about that real quick, because I did have a viewer ask me about that when I mentioned that I'm getting a book from the library. So, or that my library has a certain book. If that's the case, it's usually a book that is either currently available, and even though I make up my TBR like around the 20th to the 25th of the month, I still will put that book on hold because I will get to my library books first. Because especially with digital holds, after 21 days they disappear, regardless if you're done listening to them or not. The library doesn't care. They will just disappear off your device. So I always make a point to read my library books first. And so yes, so if I say that a book is available at the library, I've probably already checked it out, or I see how many holds are on it, and if I can get my hands on it within 2 weeks, because the Libby app is great for that. If you guys have that app to listen to stuff, it's part of Overdrive. It's another app from Overdrive. I prefer it. I think it's a nicer layout. If you guys want me to ever do a video to talk about it, I'm more than happy to do so, because I use Libby quite a bit. But there is an option in the holds field. If you click on it and you click on this area, it'll tell you approximately how many weeks you have wait. And as long as it's 2 weeks or less, I will put it on hold and try and get to it by the end of the month. So that's how that works. So on to the book that I'm kind of doing a group read for. So Lisa from Books and Smiles, Lisa's Books and Smiles, and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand have the Deadly Divas Book Club. And every month they pick a different book to read, but they picked all their books like ahead of time. So I knew this was coming up, and this one is the book for June, and this is a book that is on my radar. This is a favorite author of mine. I'm very much looking forward to it, and it is The Lucky Ones by Tiffany Reisz. So this is the book that they're going to be reading in June, and I am going to be reading it with them, and then they do a big live show at the end of the month. So it'll be really, really fun to be able to participate in that. So I'm very, very, very much looking forward to it. And that is being narrated on audio by Emily Wu Zeller, so it should be good. I believe it's a romantic suspense type novel. Tiffany Reisz does some great work. I mentioned before that she wrote this great 3-book miniseries for the Blaze line for Harlequin. She also read a great book I read last year called The Bourbon Thief, which I highly recommend. Her other book, The Night Mark, is on my my summer book bingo TBR, so I'm looking forward to getting to that one. So yeah. The next book I want to talk about really quickly is, of course, my TBR jar pick, which was my anticipated reads TBR jar. I just did that video a couple days ago, so if you watched it, you know what this one is. But in case you did not, the book that I pulled is Easy Charm by Kristen Proby. It is book number 2 in the Bordeaux series. It is about a family. Each individual story is about a different family member, and I believe this one is about the sister, and it takes place in New Orleans. Cannot wait to read it. And last but not least, the last 2 books I want to mention, because I'm not doing the Pass the Parcel challenge, I was always leaving spots open for that because I didn't know week to week whether any of the books I currently had on my TBR would fit into any of those challenges. But again, as I think I said at the beginning of this video, that challenge isn't coming back until August, so I have a couple months to be able to fit some other things in. Now, I am still doing the Pick It For Me challenge on part of the Romance Readers group, where you get picked up with somebody else, and you need to pick books for them, and somebody different picks books for you. So I have that list as well. And if I get everything else done on my TBR, I will definitely pick books from that list to go to next. But I really have I have a lot of series I am currently reading. A lot. And I'd really like to try and sort of work my way through them. So my plan is I'm calling this my series catch up. So I'm picking one book because I just started keeping track of my series in 2017. So I'm picking one book from 2017 and one book from a series that I've started this year or that I'm currently reading this year to get to the next book in the series. It doesn't necessarily have to be book number 2. I could be, 10 books into the series and just need to read the next one. So here are the 2 books that I picked for that. So I'm really excited about this to kind of work my way through. So the first one from 2017 is Rustler's Moon by Jodi Thomas. This is another one from the Audible Romance package. This is part of the Ransom Canyon series. It's book 2 in the Ransom Canyon series by Jodi Thomas, and it's going to be narrated on audio by Julia Gibson. So I'm looking forward to this one. It is a cowboy romance, and it's going to be great, I'm sure. And the one from this year that I pulled was Wound Up in Murder by Betty Hechtman. This one is also available from my library on audio. I listened to the first one on audio. I wasn't 100% impressed. I read the second book as an ebook, but I'm going to read this one as the audiobook because it was available and I thought, why not? Reading audio is a lot easier for me than reading an ebook right now in this part of my life. So yeah, and it is going to be narrated by Margaret Storm. I cannot remember if that's the same narrator as the first one. This is a cozy mystery series about a woman who runs a yarn retreat business, and evidently a murder takes place, so it should be good. But anyway, guys, that is it for my TBR. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books that I've talked about. And yeah, until my next video, guys, take care, happy reading, and thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.